Hello, my name is Eduardo Romero. I'm the director of a cryo core facility at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. In this video, we're going to learn how to use a Leica EM GP2 vitrification robot. With the instrument on, we proceed to touch the touchscreen in order to initialize the robot. By doing this, the robot chamber will move up and start requesting the different settings that we will need for the vitrification of our samples. Once the robot chamber is up, we proceed to add 70 milliliters of the still water into the humidifier chamber. We just push the syringe and let all the water through. Eventually, we will need to add more water and refill it in intervals of 20 milliliters. Once we have finished this, we go to the touch screen and we just select OK. The robot will give you the instructions in order to proceed. Next, we're going to set up the chamber settings. We hit into the pen. Now we can change the temperature. Just click on Set and select the desired temperature that you want, anywhere between 4 and 60 degrees. After that, you select the humidity of the chamber. That will have to be between 90 and 100% for the good vitrification. Following this, we select the blotting time by selecting in the pen and setting up the blotting time that you require for your vitrification. Time within 5 and 5.5 seconds seems to be safe, but is sample dependent. Now we will proceed to add the grid box holder into the liquid nitrogen chamber and the ethane cup. That is where the liquid ethane will be made to vitrify the grids. Now we will proceed to add the filter paper into the chamber. We grab one piece of filter paper and the clamp ring that was going to hold the filter paper together. Open the chamber, line up the clamp with the filter paper, and finally line it up with the hole in the holder. It is magnetic, so it will just clamp into place. Once it's done, you close the chamber. Now we will proceed to blow discharge the grids. You grab the grid holder and carefully open the grid box. With a piece of sharp tweezers, we'll grab the grid just by the edge, making sure not to bend it. So it should be grabbed between the copper and the carbon film. Once you grab it, make sure that the carbon film is facing up. Carbon side will be the darker, shiny side. We continue to do this with all the grids that we want to close the charge. For vitrifying grids, I do recommend to only vitrify 8 grids at a time, as this will reduce considerably ice contamination in the future. Once all the grids are in the grid holder, we proceed to put the grid holder between the 2 electrodes in the glow discharger. Make sure we put the cap in and it's completely lined up with the rubber seal in the bottom. After that, we just hit Auto to start the glow discharging. The glow discharging process is grid dependent. However, this has to be done for about 30 seconds for regular holy carbon grids. The plasma cleans the surface of the grid, making it hydrophilic. This to make sure the sample spreads evenly during the grid preparation process. This guarantees the ice thickness of a grid will be consistent in every place. Next, we proceed to cool down the Leica EM GP2 vitrification chamber. To do this, we just pour directly liquid nitrogen inside the chamber until it's completely full, just making sure not to overflow it. Once it's filled up completely, we will wait up until the temperature of the chamber reaches the target temperature, that typically is just 1 degree above the melting point of ethane, negative 183 degrees Celsius. The part of the liquid nitrogen will evaporate over time, and we just will wait till the temperature of the chamber stabilizes, and additionally add more liquid nitrogen if needed until 100% level is steady in the chamber. Before moving forward, I recommend to use a face mask to prevent ice contamination into your samples. The next step will be to cool down the grid box. This grid box in particular is a hybrid grid box which allows us to have either clip grids and also regular grids. We just leave it into the grid holder and let it cool down. Now we will proceed to make the liquid ethane. To do this, we put the ethane cup on top of an ethane reservoir and then connect the hose into the ethane tank. We have to wait till the temperature of the ethane cup is cold enough in order to liquefy the ethane. Before opening the ethane tank, we'll use safety glasses to prevent damage to our eyes. Carefully, we'll open the ethane gas access into the ethane cup. By doing this, we'll start to see as a white mist coming out of the ethane cup. We'll wait till the ethane cup is completely filled up with liquid. We can see it through the transparent window that is present in the ethane cup. Now that we can see the liquid, we can completely remove the ethane cup from the reservoir. Now we will wait till the temperature of the ethane reaches the cryogen temperature that we set up, and we'll start to pick up the grids to prepare our samples. First, grab the tweezer and make sure the hinge is pointing downwards. This way, when you put the grid, it will be pointing to your right side if you are right-handed. Carefully open the tweezer and then slide the tweezer between the grid and the grid holder, making sure not to put pressure down, just pull up. Putting pressure down will bend the grid. Make sure grabbing the grid just at the edge. By doing this, just slightly lift it up, close the tweezer, and finally move the rubber stop down in order to secure the grid. It is the moment to start making the grids. Slide the tweezer inside the aperture of the tweezer holder in the robot. Now press load specimen. By doing this, the robot chamber will drop and you will be ready to pour the sample into the grid. Now we take 3 microliters of sample using an automatic pipette. We open one of the side windows of the robot and then slide the pipette in. We pour all the sample in a single stroke without touching the grid with the pipette. Rotate the grid using the touchscreen and then pressing blot in order to blot. Once the blotting is complete, it will rapidly plunge into liquid ethane in a few milliseconds. After blotting, the blotting chamber will move up, allowing us to have enough room to remove the tweezer. Remove the tweezer using your index and thumb, making sure the tweezer is in the ethane reservoir at all times. Open the tweezer and then translate into the grid box. Make sure you don't smash the grid against the grid box, just drop it in one of the slots. By doing this, you guarantee you will not bend the grids. Here's a recap of the whole procedure. Carefully grab the grids without putting pressure down to avoid to bend them, and grab them tightly and close down the tweezer. Check off the grid to make sure it stays in place, and then slide in the tweezer into the tweezer holder. Press load specimen. We take 3 microliters of our sample, slide the pipette inside the robot, and pour the whole contents in a single stroke without touching the grid. Now, we hit rotate, and then blot. This will blot the grid and rapidly plunge it into liquid editing. The robot chamber will move up, and now's the moment that we can remove the tweezers from the holder. To do this, we use our index and thumb in order to slide out the tweezer. We rotate our tweezer, open it up, move into the slot in the grid box, and just drop the grid. Don't put pressure down. And this will finalize your grid preparation. To store your grid box, you have to cool down first the grid box lid using a lid tool. We cool it down in a liquid nitrogen pad. Make sure the tool reaches the hissing point in order to preserve the integrity of your sample. From now on, all your samples need to be at liquid nitrogen temperature, otherwise the sample will be devitrified and it will be useless. We proceed to cap the grid. To do this, we'll make sure the lid tool is straight and then carefully screw in the cap. Once this has been done, we move rapidly the whole grid into the liquid nitrogen bath to be stored later into a vacuum tube or into a buck. We have finished making our samples. Now it's time to bake out the instrument. We remove the editing cup and pour the editing on the table. Make sure to discharge yourself before doing this to remove any kind of fire hazard. Remove the grid holder and then remove the filter paper and put it in the trash. Make sure to recover the clamp ring. After this, we'll press main and then bake out. We'll follow the instructions on the screen and then hit the start and follow OK. When we have done this, we'll remove all the water present in the humidifier by pulling vacuum into the chamber. Pour the water into a water waste container. And then remove the overflow reservoir and pour the water in the water waste container. This will be the end of the bake-out process. If you are interested in using CryoEM in your experiments, please reach out to us. Thanks for watching.